Hello, everybody. Welcome back to Cinema Savvy. It is myself, George, joined once more by Ren for our WrestleMania 41 spoiler discussion. I may sound tired, not enthusiastic. I may sound a bit croaky because I had a bit of a voice thing going on last week. But we've had 2 nights of late night wrestling. We've also had The Last of Us. We've had many things happen this weekend. The Pope has died as well. Not that I'm religious. It's been a wild evening. No Last of Us spoilers here.
Finally made Conclave 2. I cannot wait.
That's about. I did wonder. I was like, is it out on like? Imagine it was like due on digital or Blu-ray this week or something. Like this is like the best marketing campaign ever. But it's wild. I just didn't expect that tonight. It's very few things we didn't see coming happened yesterday, including things we didn't see coming that did happen and didn't happen. And we're gonna talk all of that. Ren, how are you feeling today?
I am feeling exhausted. I'm feeling emotionally exhausted. The emotional part is because of The Last of Us. The exhaustion part is because of WrestleMania.
That's the perfect way to do it, actually, if I'm honest. Yeah. Oh, God. I'm trying with my hands not talking about Last of Us. People watching at home, we want to know your thoughts on WrestleMania. Let's not cut to the chase, but a tale of 2 nights is almost what I'm thinking with this. We obviously had the main event last night. We had night 2. There's obviously controversy to an extent with the ending. I don't think it's in storyline controversy. I think it's actually just people's opinion on how it was booked controversy for a change. Obviously, we're going to get Raw tonight, which I won't be watching live. I'll watch it tomorrow. We've obviously got night 1 to talk about.
I'm done staying up.
No chance. Not in a million years. Oh God, yeah. There's going to be a lot there's going to be a lot for them to do to program to look at what's cooking and all that other stuff. So people at home, we do want your thoughts on WrestleMania.
Viewing and whoever's coming up from NXT tonight.
I didn't even thought about that once, and that's something that we need as a standard. I can tell you one person who I bet we're not going to see tonight because he didn't show up the last 2 days either. And if he does show up, that'll actually be even worse, but it's not going to happen. So, yeah, we'll talk about The Rock later on. But actually, we do want people's thoughts. WrestleMania's been and gone. Comment WrestleMania spoilers. We're going to go through each of the matches. Some of them we might talk about for like seconds. Some of them we might do a couple of minutes. We're going to go over both nights. We did a great predictions video. We had a lot of people tune in, so that's thank you so much. And we haven't done a score. We're not into that. We just did predictions in the context of a video. But we'll be giving our thoughts on the match, what we thought of it, storylines, etc., etc., etc. So, if you want to find out about other wrestling stuff, we obviously do wrestling videos. We do videos after PLEs. Backlash is in 3 weeks. 3 weeks for another pay-per-view. We'll put times nearer the time for when we do anything for Backlash. So that's Saturday, the 10th of May. So if there's a video, it'll be the Sunday, maybe. Who knows? Last of Us is still at that point, so it won't be a double upload that Monday. But yes, let's head over to the comments. We have Fatty, not Fatu, saying Vegas now night John Cena wins. Yes, we know. We're doing spoiler discussion. As I said, people watching, you can comment. Ren, I want to put on sort of a question, but then I don't. I was going to say, what was your favorite match? But we'll actually say that for the end or just whilst we're discussing it. But just as your overall, your quick summary on the 2 nights, like what did you think of WrestleMania 41?
WrestleMania 41 was a good WrestleMania. I wouldn't say it is a great WrestleMania. There were points, like there's heights in there where like this is one of the greatest WrestleManias of all time. Like when night 1 started, and I was on board with night 1 from the beginning, but like let's face it got better and better as it went. That main event, that's stuff out of the best WrestleManias of all time. I think there's a lot of inconsistency when it comes to the quality here, like the booking decisions, the structure of the whole thing, like the times that we allowed people to go on. I would have given some of the people in night 1 a little bit more time. I would have given the people in night 2 a little bit less time in some of the matches, but we'll get to it all. It's just there are a lot of peaks. There aren't too many valleys, but it's just everything is a little bit there in the nebulous sort of state in terms of quality.
Yeah, it's a weird one because certainly for me, I enjoyed night 1, but it did get better. There's a lot of things I didn't like about night 1. And then into night 2, you're off the higher night 1. You get these amazing opening few matches. And I think at one point I turned to friends who I was watching yesterday, and I was like, this could be like an all-timer.
Yeah.
As you said, it's good. It is a good WrestleMania. but I do not think overall it is a great WrestleMania. But it has all-timer moments within WrestleMania this weekend, and I think one very fair thing I want to sort of open with is it's obviously almost impossible to not compare it to last year because sequentially it's the WrestleMania afterwards. We've still got Cody in his title reign. We've still got some stories carrying on from over that period. It is so different in terms of the build-up, the matches, the other story, but it's hard to separate them. And I think the experience of the two nights last year is just something I don't think will. I don't want to not say ever see again, but the how the ending of night one last year was so imperative to night two. It was a finger ending for part two, and I don't know how often they want to do that or if they'll do that. But it was the 40th, it was an anniversary year, it was generational. Cody's story, the ending. We were never going to get that this year, which kind of will be a criticism when I get to the night two main event. Also, not because I wanted that, because we still got one too many things of that. But let's take it back to night one. Let's go through each of the matches. And we're going to kickstart with Gunther versus Jey Uso. Now, we've spoke obviously about this at length on Friday. We all kind of knew that Jey was winning. I don't think it was a bad match, but I main event Jey Uso was opening event Jey Uso. And it's the right person to open Mania with. I still maintain this. Gets the crowd going, a good pop for a good entrance. Everyone's eating. They have improved the story somewhat. The match was fine for me. I despise the ending. I still, from a fan perspective, disagreeing Gunther dropping the belt, but I understand it from a company and business perspective of him dropping that belt. What I think is nonsense to Gunther's character is tapping within a millisecond of getting put in a sleeper hold. That isn't Gunther to me. And I think the ending really spoiled. Again, it was predictable, but it was okay. But the ending's left a real sour taste in my mouth. Considering how few people have beat Gunther clean in WWE, going back to NXT UK, everything else, it's very surprising that was the ending outcome for me personally. I don't know what your thoughts are.
I genuinely really loved this match. I thought the match itself was great. Jey is the right person to win. Like you, I think they fumbled the ending. I think the Jey putting Gunther on a sleeper is great storytelling. Like, given what has happened to them, and with Jimmy, I think that's the perfect way to end this match. But like you, I don't like that Gunther immediately went for the tap. I wish they had gone to a fainting moment where the ref lifts the arm and checks on Gunther. Create more suspense. Let people be there in that moment before the climax of it all. So yeah, I thought it was really good. 95% of it was great, and then that 5% just sours everything.
Yeah, I get it, and it's a shame. And I'm curious what does follow. We'll probably talk about what could follow when we get to the ending of night one, because I've got some hopes and aspirations rather than predictions on that. But following up Gunther, we'll jump into what's going to probably be the shortest one, which is War Raiders versus New Day, which, we spoke on Friday. Not a controversial match, but a controversial decision to not have the SmackDown tags on the Mania card. We did our video before SmackDown aired. I kind of said, I think they'll find a way to get the SmackDown tags onto the card for the weekend, because there could be any of 5 teams are in a chance of winning that, and it would work for story. And I kind of said, I don't think the New Day's feud or they've been good enough to be at Mania unless there's a Big E moment. There was no Big E moment. I thought it personally had. I don't want to criticize the War Raiders, because I think they were fine in this match. I think the New Day were fine in the match. But that was not a WrestleMania match to me. That was a Monday Night Raw, mid-card match. And I'm pretty bitter about this one. I just think from a business decision, there are so many more deserving people to have had that moment, to have those moments. The spotlight, I think, if I'm going to really get in and sound quite cynical, SmackDown to totally rebuild their tag division for, I want to say, October, November, almost, where they really got going with the storylines. You had they did the meme from Always Sunny with all the red things and Nick Aldis, but the fact they could do that to explain 5 different storylines with 5 different tag teams and why they're going for this belt, to me that was the most obvious get a ladder match or get a big event going. And I can't get over the New Day War Raiders, and even the ending, just grabbing the belts and running off the Titantron. Even that just felt so peculiar. So I've got negative thoughts on this. It's not against the in-ring performance. This is more a WWE decision. I'm really, and I don't even think New Day are at that, not peak of before, but I don't even think their current gimmick is even like registered or in with the fans. I don't think anyone cares at the moment. Like, they're just a bit dry.
Yeah, I'm with you. This match should have been tonight on Raw, and the SmackDown TLC triple threat should have been following Jay and Gunther, because the performers are not at fault. It's the booking. It's the fact they were inserted in what ended up being a match that could air tonight on Raw, and it fit perfectly. It would not be jarring to see a match like this on Raw, because love the War Raiders. I think the War Raiders are fantastic. But like you said, the New Day, they are very dry. If you're not going to have the Big E spot. And I even, in my head, I don't think I brought it up in our predictions, but in my head, I could have even seen a moment where Big E comes out and is like, oh my God, he's going to finally get his on the New Day, and then he joins them or something like that. Yeah. Whatever it was, Big E coming out and creating a moment was all that this match had to do, and this match did nothing. Like you said, they're dry, because ever since they turned heel, what has their story been? We deserve the tag titles, and then on the week after, their families were mad at them for the same reason we all are, and that's it. They haven't done anything with these two guys since, and I think they're very dry. I think this heel turn is just not clicking into gear at all.
Yeah, no, I'm with you that, and it's a shame because it's a Hall of Fame tag team, and the idea of a heel New Day could work in principle, but I just don't think the new entrance is interesting, and I don't want to compare it to John Cena, but like how heel Cena, like, even obviously we'll get to that, but the Black Titantron, the lack of text, he's doing that I'm not the same guy as before better than they have, and he's been doing it for a month. They've been doing it for about 5-6 months. Yeah, and I just think it stings a bit. I think it stings just on, WrestleMania is about showcasing. It's the end of season, the big go home show for the calendar year, and the guys that deserve to be there. We know at times people will miss out that deserve to be there, but when they've had the TV time and have justified it through TV time, and it's still not there. And, putting it on for this Friday on SmackDown, not even the Raw after that. I know it's the SmackDown titles, but I'm not happy with this. But we did. This is where, to me, it started to get better. We got Jade Cargill versus Naomi, a match that I think either person could have won. Jade won. I thought it was a solid match. Nothing spectacular, but they have one of the most interesting storylines going on at the moment. And I think that's going to become a 3-person story in the coming days and weeks. I'll be totally honest, I can't even remember any spots in this match anymore. Like, night one feels like a long time ago.
Yeah, it does. Like, I don't remember anything. I remember the powerbomb thing in the final sequence, because Jay did something impressive there that I was not used to seeing from them. But this was a match that really worked. These ladies kicked ass, and they did not need a championship to justify the presence of this match at WrestleMania. Can you maybe argue that there are other? Can you go back to like the WWE TLC, the SmackDown TLC triple threat? Sure, but this wouldn't be the match you take off, and they both did a great job. I think Naomi should have won, but I'm okay with this result, because, like you said, I don't think the story is over, and it's not just between the two of them now.
Do we think it becomes a triple threat down the line at SummerSlam?
No, because I think Bianca joins Naomi, because Jade is the next star, so you want to push her. So you want to leave her alone and isolated. And again, not to get ahead of my own words for night 2, but I think a Bianca heel turn is bound to happen. Like a full heel turn is bound to happen this week.
Especially with the crowd. Yeah, we'll get to that too. Okay, let's go to another big one. LA Knight versus Jacob Fatu. The key question going in, is Solo going to interfere?
Yeah.
Solo, who was at the entrance of Jacob, is Fatu going to win? Because we knew he's either going to win clean and destroy LA Knight, or we know he would.
It was a matter of how fast is he going to win.
Yeah, and I'll say this match was better than I thought it would be. It wasn't a squash match. LA Knight is a solid in-ring worker. We know he's a company guy. We know his experience within the industry, not just within WWE. He's a great champion. He's over with the fans. We know that Jacob Fatu is being billed as a monster. It's kind of the perfect opponent, the perfect mid-card, the perfect place in Jacob Fatu's story to do this. I am glad Solo wasn't involved at the end. I'm glad that he didn't come out after. If there's going to be conflict between them, then I'm assuming that's going to be Friday Night SmackDown this week, which I don't mind if they want to do that. There's a hilarious photo. Have you seen the Jacob Fatu Triple H pointing photo? Where his eyes are just incredible. I love him so much. I'm so happy he won the belt. And he was super over. Not the most over heel of the weekend. We'll talk about that one later. But Fatu is incredibly over. And LA Knight, again, LA Knight doesn't need that belt to maintain his reputation, his status within the company. I thought it was a solid match. And I loved LA Knight's entrance because the window came down in sync with his theme tune.
Yeah. I thought this was great. It's just the best version of both these guys put forward. They brought the best out of each other. They brought the best out of themselves. Spots in this match were just so good. And yeah, I think they told a perfect story where LA Knight is no young gun. LA Knight is not a guy who doesn't think before doing certain moves. He's not a guy who is not quote unquote ready for this. But it's just that Jacob Fatu is too much, that he won't stay down and all that. So I think the storytelling here was just absolutely perfect for both of them. And now you can send LA Knight to Raw and have him go for the Intercontinental Championship, maybe the World Championship, give him something new, and just let Fatu destroy fools going forward until next year or 2 years from now. Who knows?
Definitely. It's going to be exciting to see what happens. The reason we're flying through is because we know what we're going to get to. But this is one of the big changes. Rey Fenix versus El Grande Americano. So Rey Mysterio, I woke up on Saturday and I saw these murmurs that Rey Mysterio had limped out injured. And you never, without ever doubting an injury, when you're this close to Mania, you always need to question, and this isn't KO, this is Rey Mysterio, is this a work? Or is this legit? And
I think
it's a legit injury.
Is it?
Yeah. So in the match on Friday, I haven't seen SmackDown, but I've seen that, when fans are recording in the arena, there was a spot, and afterwards the medical team are basically sat with him on the outside of the ring for like the whole match, and you keep seeing people looking over to check on him. So this sort of threw it all in doubt because I had no doubt about Americano beating Rey Mysterio. When you bring Rey Fenix in to come in at the last minute, obviously we get the announcement of WWE buying
AAA.
AAA, yeah. Obviously we've got
apparently, by the way, it's going to be now called NXT Mexico.
Oh, is it?
Yeah, apparently. Yeah.
Hopefully it doesn't go the same way as NXT UK. So I thought this was a solid match. I have to say, I absolutely fucking loved El Grande Americano's entrance. I love that they're so in on this ridiculous gimmick. I know when it first happened in London, I remember you messaged us like, I'm not sure about the Gulf of America thing. And I was kind of the same. But as it's gone on, everyone's realized this is actually just like a piss take parody. But it's so good. Like, this isn't lazy Vince McMahon parody. This is like, there's an incredibly talented person in a parody type role, but he's being allowed to be an incredibly talented person in a completely different style of wrestling. Is it Chad Gable? Who knows? He wasn't unmasked. He won again. The sepia entrance covering him in with the frame rate drop. It felt like a WrestleMania moment. And I'm going to give props to Rey Fenix, who was clearly drafted at the last minute. Probably did the exact same match Rey Mysterio did, but it was a proper lucha match as well. It wasn't just spots. It was that, when they got the hand things going all in sync with one another. I was completely shocked, and I've got to give everyone involved credit. And Rey Fenix for jumping in last minute too.
Credit to Rey Fenix. I'm just happy to see him. I don't know that it's the right decision because I don't know that you should have Rey Fenix lose already because he just debuted 2 weeks ago. To me, it came at the cost of something for Rey Fenix long term. I'm ready for the Grande Americano gimmick to be over. I get the joke. I think it's funny enough, but I'm ready for it to be over. I gotta think if we're thinking of the world of kayfabe, Dragon Lee must be pissed at Rey Mysterio. Everyone at the LWO must be pissed at Rey Mysterio because they're like, why the fuck did you invite this new guy that you don't know? Like, we're in a group, man. You should have had one of us. But yeah, other than that, I thought this match was fine just because, like you said, whoever's behind that mask is incredibly talented. Rey Fenix is incredibly talented, so they're not going to have a bad match when it comes to like the work in the ring.
Yeah, absolutely. And kind of in line of that, I'm going to put the Rey Fenix stuff. Obviously, we'll talk about Penta later, but do we think in a nice way that there'll be a tag team post WrestleMania? I know they've very intentionally split them up, and Penta's incredibly over as an individual, and he's obviously had another great match, but I am wondering, are they going to keep them apart or are they going to put them together? Because I do think Raw badly needs more tag teams. Quality tag teams is the key. But I'll go one step further to say that with the AAA purchase, I think there is nothing unintentional about the Luchas over the last few months having a lot more screen time. They've obviously been working on this deal, and it's obviously going to be a big part moving forward of the company, which is great. When they did the Cruiserweight Classic years ago, I know Cruiserweight isn't Lucha, but comparatively similar styles as such. It was so popular at the time, and it's so entertaining for viewers, for kids as well, audience members. It's a really interesting thing, and I'm curious if this is part of a bigger, wider strategy that's coming down the line. I know that's a weird thing to predict on a Mania discussion, but I know they announced the Worlds Collide type pay-per-view on the same weekend now as Money in the Bank.
The TakeOver.
Yeah.
No? Yeah.
Is it June? Money in the Bank's on the Sunday, and then it's the NXT / they called it I'm sure they said the word Worlds Collide, but it was weird because then they also called it TakeOver at the same time. But I know Worlds Collide is also what AEW would call it, so it's an interesting one. But I think because they had a little image of like a lucha mask and the NXT logo, so I'm again very curious at the strategy for that, and I'm excited to see what the company can do with that too. But it is right. If it just become NXT Mexico, they'll probably officially brand it, I guess, before or around that time.
Yeah, no, it's WWE NXT Worlds Collide with AAA, June 7th.
Interesting.
Same day as Money in the Bank.
And Money in the Bank, not London. So we now know that every pay-per-view is now basically, because October's just been announced for Perth.
Yeah.
So am I right in saying for any UK guys
that I was mixing it up?
There's an August 31st pay-per-view in France. There is I forgot what I don't know if they said what weekend in October they're going to Perth, but for UK to get a John Cena PLE now, we're looking at either September or November or December, and I think we're very limited on what's going to happen. I know this is like a different conversation.
I cannot see it yet. But yeah, Survivor Series is not confirmed.
Not been announced. Nope. Nothing's been said.
Yeah.
Neither is ruthless aggression if the rumors are true.
And I'm not saying I would want this. I'm not saying I'd be satisfied with this, but for all we know, it could just get a Saturday night's main event.
I've wondered that, but then it's done on a special American channel, so I don't know if they'd want Saturday night.
You're right.
It would work for us. It would work for us, but in America, it would be Saturday afternoon.
That's true.
But yeah, the chances. We've not got long left. We'll find out.
Saturday afternoon's main event for them.
I'll take anything. If we're going to get a PLE with Cena, I feel like we're going to get one. But yeah, the big Australia event has been announced. But let's keep going. Night one. We've got two more. Mm-hmm. Tiffany Stratton versus Charlotte Flair. Tiffany Stratton with an amazing Barbie entrance, which I saw today that Barbie and Mattel officially, even though their logo and brands weren't there, even though the Barbie logo wasn't there, that was done between WWE and Mattel. So loads of people are now thinking there'll be like not Barbie action figures, but
No, but there'll be a Tiffany Stratton
There'll be
Barbie.
something.
For
Yeah,
sure.
that's what happened now. And I loved her entrance. Charlotte, obviously, we know what's been going on there. Same entrance as LA Knight with the car. Obviously, I think Maserati paid for that LA Knight spot because it was a bit random, but this match was fine. No, it was a good match. I think the concern of the match was the outcome that everyone knew. Is Charlotte going to put Tiffy over or not? And there were a few good moments, a few stiff shots from the pair of them. I thought it was a good Mania match. I don't think it's the match that's like making Tiffy the star that some wanted it to be like ourselves when, the first pairing was there, but it solidifies her reign and it allows them to move on. I've got no idea what happens with Charlotte moving forward. Does she disappear from TV for a while? Does she get in a feud with somebody else? I don't know. I'll be completely honest. I don't care at this point in time. But I'm just happy that she's not walked out the winner. I think the correct decision was made and booked. And that now they could really, really give Tiffy a push on a title reign to, it was a credible victory, but it was not a great build-up. Doing the tag match in Elimination Chamber, that was absolutely fine. But you were doing a tag match as the singles champion. So I'm really intrigued at what could come next. And I'm glad she won.
I'm super happy she won. That was the correct decision. Just relieved is more the world, because these days with Charlotte matches, that's just the thing. You're just the only suspense you get is the hoping she doesn't win. And it's always like that. Either she wins and you're deflated, or she does not win and you get a massive sigh of relief, because they really need to do something with this character. But I thought the match was better than expected. That start was ugly. It was not a pretty sight at all. But I really enjoyed it. There were moments almost like I see the internet doing the internet thing and just call it a botch fest. But I like how they felt caught up in certain moments, in certain sequences. It helped it feel and look, and the way they move more like a proper fight, where I'm going to hit here. No, hang on. Let me try and do it was a bit of a mess at points, but in the best way possible. So I thought this match really worked. I would have had this match beforehand and just give Rey Fenix and El Grande Americano this dead spot. But yeah, other than that, I thought this was one of the matches of the night. If we were picking 3 matches per evening, this would be my top 3 for night 1 for sure.
Yeah, I'm in the same category as you actually. Yeah, top 3 for night 1 probably. Let's talk the main event, because that's what we're here for. We're here for a few things, but this is one of them. We knew this was like WrestleMania royalty, the Seth Rollins, CM Punk, Roman Reigns triple threat. It's had some of the best build-ups, some of the most interesting promos. We're entering this feud in the conversation. Could Seth win? Should Seth win? Does he deserve it? Could he align with Paul Heyman? Could he not? What is Paul Heyman's function and purpose? What is going to go on? A storyline in which any of the 3 could win, and any of the 3 winning was absolutely fine. Does not affect either of the 3 if they lose either. A very, very rare circumstance. And I don't like using the word aura because it sort of memes a lot these days. But when those entrances was happening, when the promo was coming in, I think we knew we were genuinely at this point in time like we're about to witness something very special, very, very special. Yeah. Them pulling back the years to playing Killswitch Engage as part of CM Punk gets his own promo to the entrance to then go into Living Color to do the entrance, and live music sounded amazing at a WrestleMania entrance because obviously the arena roof was closed and they got it right for broadcasting, which doesn't always happen when you get bands performing live. I loved this match. The spots were incredible. The wrestling was phenomenal. The storytelling in ring from the 3 of them, blurring the lines between reality and kayfabe as they so well do. 3 veterans. And Seth Rollins aligning with Paul Heyman in one of the most shocking WrestleMania moments in history that they will put on videos for the years to come. How he betrayed both CM Punk and Roman Reigns. And I'll give it this. Even though it was predictable in the context of, if you look back, you can say it's predictable. But when he gave Punk the chair, and I'm jumping ahead toward the end, but to give Punk the chair, then low blow Punk, the Roman Reigns laughing bit, heading into Seth Rollins, I thought it was just fucking perfect. On top of a incredible match beforehand. The spots with both tables is one of my favorite spots.
Oh my God.
Like,
it's good.
Thinking they're going to get the reunion for the Shield. It was just unbelievable. Ah, man. The match of the weekend for me. There's a couple of great contenders, but this, I think, because of the storytelling perspective, this will sit at the top for me.
Yeah. This was pro wrestling at its finest. It's three guys who absolutely hate each other, and that's all you need. And that's it. Pro wrestling is simple. So let them be big, let them be aggressive, let them be bombastic, and that's all they were for however long this match went. And that ending is just heartbreaking in all the ways, because you got a swerve, you got a double swerve, and has Paul Heyman beaten Dominic Mysterio? Because let's face it, he wasn't exactly a baby face coming into this match. So then he betrays CM Punk, and then he betrays Roman Reigns. So that's him turning heel on top of being a heel, but moments later he turns heel again on top of himself. So I think there's a discussion here between him and Dominic Mysterio at one point. But yeah, this match was fantastic. I am still very unsure of what this looks like long term. I'm not sure if long term we lost more than we actually gained from this decision. But with professional wrestling, with what has happened in the past 3 years now, anything is possible going forward. And I'm very curious to see what happens tonight. What was the favor? Was the favor helping him win the match? But why did you accept? Why did you play coy with look what you made me do? But then he's just diabolically smiling at the end with Seth. So this wasn't the I owe you a favor and I'm just doing it so you don't beat me up kind of thing. That this is a full alliance. So how long have they been fooling us? And yeah, I'm just very, very curious. And I'm sorry about the thumbs up next to me. I don't know how that happened.
It's fine. It does it on these laptops sometimes. I'm kind of with you, because I was thinking this with Heyman. Heyman tends to be a long-term storyteller when he aligns himself to people. Obviously, Roman and Brock in terms. I mean, okay, this is behind the scenes, but on-screen partnerships.
Yeah.
Brock and Roman are his two longest ones from my memory, at least. And I don't think it would be a light decision to.
Him and Roman are done. Him and Roman are done now. 5 years.
And it's incredible. And we know behind the scenes how important he is, as well as being the on-screen compatriot.
Yeah.
That they're on the cover together of the wrestling game this year, which is great timing with what's just happened. I am a huge fan of Seth, and we know how good he is. We know, and I've always felt like he's one of those that I don't want to say he's a better heel than a face, because that would imply that he's not a great face. He is, but he is just so good in the villain role. He kind of reminds me of, not in terms of in-ring ability, but he's like Edge, where I know the Architect, the Ultimate Opportunity, you can look at them, you can look at Cashes, that sort of thing, but everyone's going to cheer him whether he's a hero or a villain. But when he's like at his most deviant, as someone would say, I think that's when he is best on-screen persona. And that entrance with the flamethrower, switching to the black into Jesus, wearing the crown of thorns on Easter weekends, it was unbelievable. And I'm kind of curious to see that. What is the plan? Because I hope there's a plan. I know a lot of people online, and it's too easy to put this because it's the two main events, but it's like, oh, is Heyman going to align himself with The Rock and Cena? Well, that didn't fucking happen on Sunday, clearly. And I think it's two completely different stories, different characters on different journeys.
I think so too. At least right now.
Yeah, and it could all change. It could all change tonight. It could all change next week. It could all change in a month. And I'm really excited for it. First call of business for me, which is unrealistic, is I hope this wasn't the favor. I hope the favor is a title shot on Raw tonight against Jey Uso. I don't think it would be, but that's just me being a dick.
I hope it isn't, because like I don't need.
It won't be, but he should take the belt from Uso now.
I can see him being the one to take it. I just don't. I don't like it that you're gonna do this great victory for Jey Uso and then just undo it. They did it with Kane. They did it with Mysterio. They did it with other people before. Just not a fan.
I get that. I think I'm just still bitter about Gunther. But again, with Heyman, when the characters align with Heyman, gold comes with it.
I would accept Jey Uso losing the title tonight if it was back against Gunther. I would accept. That's the only exception.
And this is it. We got back. And the other thing is because Backlash is in 3 weeks' time. If I'm being totally honest, I don't know which of the two. Maybe Punk. I think Seth is going to go into some individual programming with one of Punk or Roman, at least for Backlash. Maybe even further away. Who knows? But I
think if you're doing something at Backlash, you do Punk just because.
That's what I think. It's sooner.
No offense to Backlash, but you're not the biggest pay-per-view. We have seen Seth and Punk already twice. So you can have the rubber match for Seth to win clean and establish whatever. I think if you're going to do Punk versus... I think if you're going to do Roman versus Seth, it's a SummerSlam thing at this point.
Absolutely, and that's my thoughts. And again, they might not run Punk; they might take him off Teddy for a couple of weeks. Who knows? But I'm really excited for this for Seth. And whether there's other people joining a group, I don't know. But I'm curious, and it was a great way to end night one. Night one had you buzzing, and it had you excited for night two.
I will say, I fully coming on the road to WrestleMania, I was like, Cena's going to win. But after the main event, I was questioning it because you just had the heartbreak of the betrayal by Paul Heyman on night one. Is night two the feel-good night? Because they're not going to give us heartbreak twice, right? And, well, we'll get to it when we get to it. But very, very good to have, specifically because of the result that we got, very good to have this finish off night one.
Absolutely. I mean, let's start talking night two. So we get a day to rest. Still very tired, and I'm on stream. I'm feeling the tired worse. I don't know how many rest of us later. Night two opens with Io Sky versus Bianca Belair versus Rhea Ripley.
My match of the weekend.
It was an incredible match. It's in my top three for the weekend, if I'm honest.
Top three.
Night two sequentially, I don't want to say got better, but night two was an absolute banger overall up to a certain point.
For the first 4 matches,
it was just like 1-2 punches back and forth for fucking hell. Like it's you don't the old phrase like you don't want to be the person that follows that. You don't want to be the person that followed that. Every single person that followed it took it their way, and then they put that onto the next one to try and follow.
There's the contrast. It was all pro wrestling, but it was all these different facets of pro wrestling that are all so different from one another, and just so exciting. Like this night was off to the races from the get go.
It was a great triple threat. Bianca being booed by everyone. And I'm not going to sit here judging. I'm not going to compare it to Charlotte in Chicago. But, when they were doing the intros, when they get the nice 4K camera and they're going between the three for the challenger, the name. I think Bianca, maybe it's me reading into it, that was a face of somebody that didn't expect those boos. Like, it felt, not like upset, but it felt, and it's her acting fair play, but it felt like, it was her like, oh, okay. It felt like that to me. And maybe that's me reading it completely differently, but I know everyone spoke about her being booed in Europe.
She, apart from when they were here in Europe, here she started being booed. And my favorite thing is America, of all places, saying it's because Europe is sure. But ever since they came back to the States and have just been doing regular Raws and all that, she hasn't been booed. So I wasn't expecting the boos at Mania either. And
I think on paper she was the not least favourite to win. I think if I'm sort of giving my 2 pence on each of the three going in, for me, Io had to win because it completely discredits her as a character, as a performer.
And discredits the championship.
Yeah. For all that for a quick 6-week turn, because it's not I know Jacob Fattis wanted a squash match, but that was you understood why they put the belt on LA Knight for 6 weeks. You understood that decision for business reasons. For Io to then drop it is outrageous to either of them. Rhea doesn't need the title right now. She's obviously main event. She's a star. She's as big a star as some of the leading guys as well. That is very well established and known. And she didn't need that at this point in time. And again, it would have been even more pointless for her to then win it back from the person she dropped it to, who she lost to basically clean on Raw.
Yeah.
Then you have Bianca, who has gone through the Elimination Chamber, has earned that spot, and
abandoned both her best friends when they started fighting and went after a championship. That is selfish.
And there's already a story to put her straight back into, no problem.
Exactly.
And it felt like they are testing. There's long-term booking and there's long-term booking. This is me making an outrageous prediction for a year's time. I don't do this stuff normally, but you know how everyone was like, after May last year, we're going to get, we'll get Roman Rock next year and Cody Rock at SummerSlam or something. This felt like next Mania we're going to get Bianca versus Rhea for the belt. It felt like a tease, like they didn't want to do it now, so that's where Io comes in. But it builds their rivalry to start up, which will slowly come into play across the next calendar year.
And you let Bianca be a mega heel for the next year, and Rhea Ripley's fucking Rhea Ripley. She's not going to get booed by any arena,
This is it.
So I'm with you. Like, the only way Bianca could win is if during the match she fully like low blowed someone or like full on heel turn and wins. But like you said, she couldn't. Io Sky had to win. She was the correct winner because of this story that they were telling. And Rhea Ripley is Rhea Ripley. People are not going to boo her, so it had to be Bianca Belair who becomes the heel for this one.
Absolutely, and it's just an unbelievable match, and that is then.
I forgot we were going to get a whip moment because you have.
We got one. They held the whip, but also I've got to say this: Rhea's makeup yesterday was. I don't normally look at stuff like that. Like I know, I was talking about Tiffany behind the scenes, but the makeup on Rhea, the entrance, it was very Triple H. She had the mask. It was
the Batman Who Laughs inspired, which is a Batman that it's from a run in comics where there's this world in the multiverse where the Batman is the Joker essentially.
I'm interested. There's double meaning with it then. That's interesting. But I just wanted to give a shout out to entrance because it was amazing. How'd you follow that up?
Best year of the entire weekend, honestly. Though there's another one I want to shout out when the time comes on night 2.
That's fair. Damian Priest versus Drew McIntyre in a street match.
That was a fight. That wasn't a match.
It was quality. Just two absolute monsters just beating the shit into each other with quality spots, taking big bumps, and the most vicious claymore I think I've ever seen. Where I even began to question, like, is Damian Priest actually like hurt? Because when the cameraman cuts to him on the ground, he's like, I can't breathe. I'm like, I really hope you're selling that because I understand if you legit can't breathe. You just got claymored into a chair on the rope. This is what you want from Mania. It's the perfect, like, how do you follow up a great title triple threat? Like a great technical in-ring piece. You get, I don't want to call it a spot fest because that's disrespectful too, but just again, these two monsters just killing each other.
Brawl.
Yeah. It was a street fight, and props to both of them. I think it's a great way to end the feud. I think the right person's won the feud. They both come out of it looking very strong. They can both go their separate ways, and I think they're both going to be fine in the long run.
I'm with you. I love this because I'm a fan of violence. I love seeing two big, biffy boys slapping the shit out of each other, and that's exactly what these two big, tough motherfuckers did. These are two guys who... They work in a pretend fight, but they can legit kick your ass. So if they ever walk my way, I'm walking the other direction. Like you, right person won the feud. I've always been a Drew McIntyre fan. He needed to win. Roman, you're not going to be doing anything for the next 2 months, so we can finish this storyline. That'd be interesting. I wouldn't mind seeing him line up with that group if that's a group. Since one of the people in that group is not showing up at all, especially yesterday. But again, we'll talk about that when we get to that.
especially as Seth and Drew, when they went their separate ways after the title, it was respectful even a year ago. Like they haven't, I'm with you. I want Drew in that group. It'd be like not an evolution, but if there is a stable being formed with a Heyman, with Seth, with Drew, it's almost going to be like anti-bloodline and faces. But yeah, Drew needs. Drew will be back in the title picture soon. I know this is off point. I know they've said they're going to do a draft this year. I can't remember how soon after Mania they tend to do it. I know they did the weird transfer window before, where basically you could just zigzag. But I think because so few people moved last year, I think this year will be different. Not the Vince McMahon like I'm changing your life, but I think there are story points of a lot of people moving this year because it's kind of been like 2 years in a row with really no change. It's a different landscape 2 years later. So how do you follow that street fight? You get the Fatal 4-Way, Bron Breakker, Penta, Dominic Mysterio, and Finn Balor in the Fatal 4-Way for the IC belt. This is my joint favorite match of the week. I kind of knew it would be, and I said it on the predictions.
Yeah,
I knew this could be special, and this was remarkable. 4 people who all came out of it looking strong. Yes, even Finn, who took the pin.
Who all have different unique styles, different unique gear, different unique look in general.
It reminds me of in these European house shows, I was talking with some friends a week and I was visibly pissed off that Gunther got AJ Styles on the house show a few weeks ago in a title match. They did Punk versus Gunther a few times in steel cage matches. And it's not me dissing Jay, but those European crowds. I went to a show last year in Birmingham. It was just after Mania, and it was Gunther versus Finn versus Sami Zayn versus Chad Gable for the IC. That was at a house show, and it was fucking incredible. This felt like one of those house show special matches that ends up at WrestleMania, and it fucking delivered and more. The right person won. Let's jump in with Dom. The biggest pop of the night, I'm being totally honest, after Stone Cold, obviously, Dom winning the belt, elongated celebration, whether he just chose to run back into the ring or if maybe Triple H got to someone was get back in.
There's no way.
It's so well deserved. It was a great ending, but that felt like a match that's made him a star that people will remember that moment. People will remember that match. Bron Breakker murdering Carlito through the table this time. The Penta drivers, the finish was remarkable with the frog splash onto Finn. I loved it. This is probably my favorite match.
Yeah, this was incredible. This was the work rate match. These guys are all 4 of them phenomenal workers. They could. I'm gonna say this about someone else later on, but all 4 of these dudes could have a 5-star classic with a broom. That's how good they are. The spots were fantastic. The betrayals, the storytelling, the reversals with Finn Balor. Penta is the guy that feels less involved in the match, but he's the guy that got out of there looking the strongest because he's the guy who would always hit his moves and someone else had to interrupt his spin. Otherwise, he'd win. So I really like that for him. Shout out for Penta because he came out with the green Power Ranger inspired gear. Love that. Also might be my favorite gear of the week. Bron Breakker's gear was amazing. This match had everything. I was watching this match, and it might have been the match where we texted back and forth at least because I was just watching it with a smile on my face because this was just fun. It was power and speed and acrobatic and the over the top extravaganza of professional wrestling all in a match. This was fantastic. I love this, but I love what happened after next much better because I called it and I didn't think I was right.
I think I laughed on the stream. So Randy Orton's mystery, because we knew there'd be a mystery opponent. It was an open challenge. We put a few names out there, and you said Joe Hendry, and I think I laughed at you. And the reason I laughed is because I didn't think WWE would put TNA over, as in the way, but but you sort of explained it. It's the TNA World Champion. Like, if this is not like, oh, were they serious? Put the champion on. They could have put anyone on from TNA and it puts it over. But if you take that TNA champion who's going to get a pop, who has already made a couple of appearances, including the Rumble, has had time in the ring with Roman, like had a spot with Roman, why not give him more? And it's a safe choice. He doesn't lose by losing the match. The victory is an appearance.
Yeah, the victory is at WrestleMania. The victory is carrying that world championship and representing an entirely different company at the biggest WWE event, at the biggest wrestling event of every year. And I think that's spectacular. I like to think
biggest names in history.
I like to imagine Vince McMahon like plucking out his hair.
He would be absolutely raging. And I think the key is it's the fact it's against Randy Orton. And I know circumstance led to it with KO's injury. But you know what? The key is, if you've got a bad experience, what door can that open and for whom? And it's like last year with Punk's injury at the Rumble. They didn't get to do Punk versus Seth. Guess what? We got Seth Rollins and Cody Rhodes versus the Rock and Reigns.
Exactly.
And I'm a massive fan of everyone in the crowd knew exactly how that match was going to go. I don't mind it was 3.5 minutes.
Randy Orton, and Randy Orton's like, okay, people know him. People know who this guy is.
He was loving it. All of us fucking loving it. And the camera zoom, the face, the turns, the spots. Randy Orton after the match shaking his hand, then giving him. Let's be honest, the second RKO is a compliment. Like that's the in-ring compliment. 100%. And then Randy Orton doing his taunt essentially, like the camera zoom and perfect.
These two guys are just pros. Like if you need to get shit in wrestling, these two guys are guys that get it. Like they understand what makes it funny. They understand what makes it silly. They understand what makes it work in general. Again, from the camera works to the in-ring work. This match was 3 minutes and 10 seconds. And it did so much. I knew it wasn't a long match, but I did feel it was a longer match. It's when I went to check that the time that I was shocked the fact that it was just 3 minutes because there were so much here. There were so many moments for the crowd to enjoy it, so many moments for the crowd to absorb everything. Same thing with them. Getting all of Joe Hendry's moves and moments over because Randy Orton's going to win, and he should win. Like Joe Hendry is a great moment. It's a great WrestleMania moment, but you don't want him to win because you can't do anything with him because he's a TNA guy. But yeah, I thought this was fantastic. And as someone who's been following Joe Hendry for a long time, it's just beautiful to see him get this moment. I thought it was awesome. So by this point, we were just this Mania is an all-timer. It's what I was thinking at the time.
I'm here too. I mean, the fact Joe Hendry now has WWE merchandise of WrestleMania on it, like to get that as well, is perfect. I just ordered. Have you seen the £3,500 belt signed by John Cena and Cody Rhodes? It's outrageous.
No.
I know.
Why would I want that?
It looks tacky as well. I don't know why these weird limited edition replicas always end up looking actually awful, but they do. Okay, you mentioned the night, and this is where I was going to segue because you did it well. I was sat there thinking, this might be an all-time WrestleMania. This might be the night two of night twos. This is like what we've just got back to back in a row because the Orton was perfectly placed. You've just come off a 3 match in a row high of incredible wrestling and incredible storytelling, spots, you name it. And then you had the fun cool-down match that was a great moment for many people, a crowd-pleasing moment. Then it's AJ versus Logan Paul. And we didn't get the big YouTuber reveal in the Prime Bottle. We didn't get the usual Logan Paul influencery things. It felt like this is Logan Paul trying to be a wrestler, and I respect that to an extent. I didn't care for this match to the point when I was doing the schedule, I'd forgotten who won until you sent me until you sent me a link to a promo that's been cut after Mania. I don't have much thought or memory on this, and at this point in the night, I was actually starting to get tired. Like it was hitting me, but I was like, two more matches. I was the same. During this match is when I got up just to
like do something.
I was walking around the room like
I'm like, I don't want to miss an event because at this point I've made it this far. I'm like, it's 3 a.m. and I'm up, or it's 2:30 a.m. and I'm up.
Yeah.
I'm like, I'm already gonna have to sleep until much later than I usually like to. So I'm gonna power through this. I had to power through this.
Yeah. I'm glad I wasn't at home because I think I could have gotten this. And it's not any discredit to the performance. It was just the timing of that match. And again, Cross comes in at the end. You get they're going to get the brass knuckles. Oh, they're not. Oh, this, oh, that. It's fine. If Cross is getting story, we had it with him and AJ on Monday. There's things in the pipeline. I'm okay with that. Again, you're on such an all-timer in a row that you don't really... You understand. I'm not saying it's a bad match, but you understand why this one isn't going to be at the same level as the 4 that just came before, for very obvious reasons. So I don't have many thoughts on it, if I'm honest. More so of it being a memory blur, and I really don't want to go rewatch it because I woke up today to watch The Last of Us, not to rewatch WrestleMania. And then, as if you've got more to say, but I'd be ready to move into the next match.
I just want to mention that. You could have next week a WrestleMania next year WrestleMania 42. You could have AJ Styles wrestle a broom and it'd be a 5-star classic.
Yeah,
because AJ Styles is, for the last 25 years, has been like, he is the standard. Like, if you can't run with AJ Styles, you're not going to survive in pro wrestling. This is probably the worst. I hate to say this. This is probably the worst showcase for Logan Paul's in-ring ability that I've seen since he's been in the WWE. I thought this match was very underwhelming when it didn't need to be. I don't know if it was a time thing. I don't know if they just didn't think too much about it. I don't know if it's the fact that there was clearly a plan for AJ to go up against Braun Breaker at some point, and then they changed it. I don't blame the talent. I don't blame either AJ Styles or the cunt of a human being we know as Logan Paul. But I just didn't think they had a lot of chemistry, unfortunately. And love the Karrion Kross involvement. Love the fact that he gets to be a WrestleMania because he deserves it. He's the one who's been carrying this feud, even though he's not even involved in it. This should have always been a Karrion Kross versus AJ Styles feud. And I wish AJ should have won. Not only because he would have been Logan Paul, but I think genuinely he should have won, because the story was that he's representing the WWE. He's representing the people who have to work 20 years before anyone wants to pay to see them. And if you now do a feud with AJ versus Kross, you also want AJ to win. So again, another reason for AJ to win yesterday, because he would have won that, and he could put Kross over now with their feud. But yeah, this was the match that was nowhere near as good as it should have been, unlike the match that follows.
Yeah, it felt like a Monday Night Raw match, did like the New Day one, and the one that follows. I know we're going to be controversial. I'm going to be controversial in this. Okay, so it's been a long weekend. On Saturday, I was in London, and I had to literally go on a mission from Mars to get back to watch WrestleMania, and I made it at 11:30 with 30 minutes to go. So I had been unaware of the Rey Mysterio stuff. I'd been unaware of other things. The night slipped me by that I did not know about Bayley's injury until about 11 p.m. yesterday, like an hour before the show for those who aren't in the UK. And I was like, the fuck is this bullshit? I went on Twitter, as you do, and there are a lot of reports like Bayley's been took off the card. This is not an injury. This has been in the plan for weeks and months. All these people, and again, Twitter's Twitter, there's a cesspit of nonsense, but there's some good stuff in there at times. Some people going back to Bayley's tweets claiming she's been unhappy for months. That just sounds ridiculous, but Bayley to be replaced by a tag team partner of Lyra Valkyrie's choosing being the key word. She's Irish. Becky Lynch was there at the weekend with Seth. She's at Hall of Fame. She's not appeared in so long. She came out saying she's retired last week or something. It was obvious it was going to be Becky coming in. And I'm not going to call her Becky Hogan because some people do, but I do love how adding Hogan onto anyone's name now, who is like, I don't want to say overbooked, But it's a great insult. Like, it is a great insult in wrestling, isn't it? Just
it is a great insult that he's become the standard. But yeah, this was not a Becky Lynch decision.
Yeah, this I think this is. I understand the Becky Lynch side of things being put into this. It is not a Hulk Hogan. She wouldn't have said, "Get out, Bayley. I'm going in." That wouldn't have happened.
Yeah,
I think WWE, whether it's Triple H, whether it's somebody else, whether there's a plan for Bayley with Lyra down the line because of a few matches against each other, whether there's another heel turn coming. Personally, I hated this only because it has been pre-planned for weeks. Now, there is sod's law and bad timing with Rey Mysterio running an injury on Friday, which in turn doesn't then make this planned injury look good because it's the same thing that's happened twice in 2 days. But I do think Bayley deserves better. And it's a real shame she's not on the card at WrestleMania. I'm considering last year she had that amazing match of Io to win that title as well that she held until SummerSlam. So I'm a bit cold on this. I thought the match itself was incredibly average. Liv Morgan, again, I think deserved better. Not just then the tag titles, but she's had an incredible year. So I don't mind them finding a way to get her on the card. But Becky Lynch came back, great pop, as you know. Now she's apparently back. She's got new merch out. She's going to be part of the storyline. They won the belts as well, which really did surprise me. I just, at this point of the night, I just didn't care. I was already done with this, as I said before, when I clocked what was going to happen. And I was just sat there at this point waiting for Cena main event because I don't want to sit there and say anyone was bad. Again, it was a match that existed. We understand why it existed. It got the pop. It got what they wanted. Did this follow on from the Stone Cold pop, or was that before? The attendance when he drove his quad bike into the wall. And
when he came out and bumped into the barrier. I don't remember if that was before or after this.
I think it was after this.
Let me check.
But it was just I don't know. I don't know what your thoughts are. That's like, again, it's my other issue with this. Let's take away all the Becky and Bayley stuff. You've got your women mid-card championship, and she's gone to WrestleMania to try and get the tag titles rather than get anyone going at her own mid-card. It goes back to the Chelsea Green conversation. Chelsea Green's not on the WrestleMania card. She's got a mid-belt. To me, the women's mid-card belts are just pointless now. Like, I don't know if that's rude, but if you've took one of your two mid-card champions and you've just given her the tag belts, which is probably going to be in a tag team storyline now, then what's the point? Like, be done. So I'm negative on this. And this is around the night I was sat there again, like, I can let it break because we've had 4 great matches before. Like, okay, AJ wasn't a bit of a nothing, but you're at this point, you're an all-timer and you're ready for that main event.
Yeah.
We've got a really quick comment, Bavari. I hope this leads to a story between Bayley and Becky, even if Becky didn't attack Bayley. I remember interviews with Becky where she was critical about her return at SummerSlam.
I can see that. Plus, after the match, Bayley had a few weeks ago against Lyra for the IC Championship. She was about to turn heel after, so I think you can do a heel Bayley versus Becky. I don't think it's time. It's way too early to
turn Bayley heel again.
Heel again. It'd be the same thing with Becky. So I don't really know how you do it, but you know what? Give me a Bayley versus Becky program. It doesn't have to be for a title. We just saw that with Naomi and Jade. So just the two of your biggest stars ever in the women's division against each other. You don't need a title. I thought this match was fine. It was a Raw match at WrestleMania. Yeah. Bayley deserves so much better. Bayley is one of the greatest of all time. I hate that this came at the cost of her having a WrestleMania match when the injury is storyline. If it was real, I mean, obviously it would suck for her, but what can you do? Let's get someone, you know. Strange that they win the titles. I love for Lyra that she's the first ever women's Intercontinental champion, and now she's a tag team champion at the same time. So she's a double champion. Do something there because she is awesome. She is a star. She had one of the best gears of the entire weekend. It's a match that just makes me go, why? Because bring Becky Lynch back to cost Liv the title, like to distract her. But does she need to actually be a tag team champion? Because that's all she's doing now. All she's doing is being tag team champions with new partners every time she wins the title.
Yeah, I've got a quick comment. Bayley could go back to NXT when every one of the 4 horsemen were moving up and she didn't. It'd be a shame, but it's stuck in this. Again, her title reign last year was a bit of an odd one. She had an amazing story leading up to winning the belt, and then it was just sort of sat in limbo because of the whole King and Queen of the Ring storylines that they were doing. That we know that the winners get the SummerSlam spot, which is fine, but they had 2 monsters win that last year, so it was kind of obvious they're both going to win at SummerSlam. But these are all, I guess, questions we'll find out in the coming weeks. Again, maybe the draft will help Bayley get into story elsewhere. Who knows? Let's talk main event. Cody Rhodes versus John Cena. Could John Cena win his 17th World Championship? As you said earlier, because of Saturday's ending, there were doubts creeping on people. Could Cena actually not win the belt? A lot of people want him to win it as a face. Some people think he'll lose it as a heel to then win it as a face later on in the year. I very much stayed in that lane of you can't make him heel and not win the belt. The all-black entrance, I loved. Felt like playing the PlayStation game and you just can't be bothered.
Sneakers, black socks.
Black top with the logo, black hat, black Titantron that just says John Cena.
I kept looking at his feet instead of watching the match because I'm like, there's like something doesn't look right here.
Still blue jorts. I don't know if he's going to try and dye them black, maybe.
Yeah. He black jorts before. He should do it again, especially now that he's heel.
And this is it. And this is what I was kind of saying about New Day again. Sorry to bring up New Day and John Cena a bit, but it's like them doing all that villainous shit. Cena just outdid it on one day. I know it's different characters, but if you're going to rebrand into I am definitely the same guys before, because if you think about New Day, they had like, what would you say, like a 10-year run as faces, like the mid-10s, when they, they'd been the same trio for like...
Started in 2014, and they started as heels, but
turned face very quickly when it wasn't working.
It wasn't more than a year after they debuted. They turned face,
Bright color merchandise, a lot of merchandise. Kids love them, adults love them. Like, there's comparisons to Cena in a polite way, and them doing it took them forever to get the reset. But Cena, black Titantron with plain text John Cena, and I was like, some people might hate that, but I quite like it. I think it worked. I again, we're so early in his year that so much of this Cena run to me is unknown until he retires, because only at that point are we going to know, was it worth it, was it not? That's me talking about entrance. That's me talking about the next 7 months and the last 2 months. The match itself. Oh, sorry. Cody Rhodes' entrance. Let's give him his props.
The mask.
No idea what the weird bikers were, but the fucking Iron Man mask that popped up was amazing.
I don't know what the bikers were doing there. I don't know what that was for. He didn't come out in a bike, so. But yeah.
And it was weird music. It wasn't his music as well. I was like, what the fuck's this? Like, he hasn't changed his theme. Weird biking segment. Strange. Don't really get the logic. Loved his entrance. Even his velvet suit. Like it
mm-hmm.
That's when class and money comes into it, is when you're in velvet and ring gear. And there was an aura, again, to say it. This was the main event.
Mm-hmm.
Everyone in that ground on TV at least sounded up for it. The pair of them were soaking it in, taking the time to get it going. And then when the 3-bell rings and we actually get what's going on, we have a very rare breed of a slow burner. John Cena slowing it down, which I'm fine with. I'll be totally honest, without skipping through it too much. I don't know if you've got what to say until we get to the ending. It was very much I don't want to call it a finisher fest because it went on a bit of time, but it was very methodical, getting into finishes, kicking out near counts at threes. I'm fine with that. It was working. It was working for me as a viewer and as someone to be entertained. I don't mind it when it's the WrestleMania main event. The moment the ref took the bump and everything else after happens, I'm sorry, I fucking hate it. I don't hate it as an entitled fan. I don't hate it as a viewer who's upset with the story. I hate it because I think it's a piss take out of everyone. And before someone says, oh, but John Cena says his goal is to ruin wrestling. If that's his promo strategy, fine. But that wasn't his in-ring strategy.
No.
And if that ends up being a storyline for 9 months, that he would continuously have shit matches, I'm afraid that his farewell tour will not go down well in history.
Yeah.
That's me jumping the gun a bit too far. All the issues came with the ref spot, the Travis Scott. You know, when we spoke on Friday, I was like, Cody's going to, Cena can kick out of a triple crossroads or something. Mm-hmm. And I was like, so Cody had a 2-year story to get that belt. He then held the belt for a year. To beat Cody's got to be something special. A fucking title belt to the heads, 30 seconds later getting pinned. I'm sorry, I hate it. I hate it as an ending for his reign.
No, I'm going to let you go because I have a lot to say. Certain details up.
It's not me being entitlement or me as a viewer. I think it's a discredit to the characters that have been on screen. And I know that people will say, but at WrestleMania 39, Cody lost to Roman Reigns, they did it every year. And I get that, and that was sour with what happened with Solo, but that was always part of Roman's character and what had been going on for the last however many years. But this was something a bit different for me. And I think when you've had this incredible night, this 2-day weekends, you had all this stuff going down, and you want Cena to win title 17. Travis Scott coming out, took the sting out of the match. It was a long entrance. The moment of Travis Scott coming in was only good because Wade Barrett basically screamed, "Give him his receipt." And they very rarely use terms like that on commentary. I thought Travis Scott took the crossroads well. I thought he was so small he was going to slip out before it happened, but he sold it well. As you said to me before, live. That's not a receipt though. That's just part of the story. But Cena winning the belt, holding it up, I'm fine with that. I just think the way in which Cody lost it was shit. I don't think Cody Rhodes is really going to lose a 3-count there. I think it's a real sour. It's like when you take a bite into a nice bit of foods, and then if there's this disgusting acidic taste, and you find out, oh shit, is this actually out of date, and you didn't know?
Yeah.
But you're at a 5-star restaurant. Do you know what I mean? You paid the premium prices. I just hate the ending. And if I bring him up the rock to jump really far ahead, I think all of this is his doing. This is not part of a master plan. Mm-hmm. This is someone who's doesn't give a shit, as I've texted friends today. And I don't need him to care, but I can't have your ego and your schedule dictating how a company operates for 12 months a year. You come in the Raw after Mania, give a fucking weird promo about seeing you down the line. You've got your pretend mummy's belt about fucking being the people's champion. You then don't show up until Netflix on New Year's Day or whatever, and basically you're like, we're best friends now. And everyone's like, what the fuck's going on with the storylines here? Then you have to go on NXT and say, I'm always 20 steps ahead. Sorry, I missed Bad Blood, where he came out at the main event to do the cutthroat signal 4 times. Nothing came from that. You then come out, I want your soul, Cody. You get the Elimination Chamber moment. You get one of the biggest moments in wrestling history. And he isn't fucking there to follow it up a month later. Why is Travis Scott there and not The Rock? And I don't care about his schedule. I know he's going to be in a Scorsese film. I'm happy he's going to be in a Scorsese film. I'm happy that the MMA film could be good. The fuck are you on the board of directors for and not a WrestleMania anyway? I just think it's a piss take. And I don't care who watches it. I'm not being salty. I think it's actually just considering how negative it all was on The Rock when he came back to take Cody's spot. And he reversed that into some of his best character work in decades. His best performance on screen for years, because his film career was not doing well at that point. That's why he was back in wrestling, which people seem to forget. He was back because he has an issue in the film industry. He's now got himself back into things, which is fair play to him. But this is a Black Adam moment. The hierarchy of power is going to change. It did not change. It did fuck all. And I think he has his ego may potentially fuck up not only John Cena's retirement run. If he showed up tonight, why the fuck could he show up at the Raw after Mania, not Mania weekend? He's not going to show up tonight. No. But I can't have John Cena come out and say, I'm going to ruin wrestling and this is why. Unless Cena cuts the promo of his life. But then I have to ask, could you not have done that in the ring at 3:45 a.m. when you were done 20 minutes before you normally would be? We're expecting this to go over 4 hours, not be done at 3:40 a.m. Yeah. I didn't want to turn it off till the Netflix logo came. I was like, the fuck's this? So yeah, I'm swearing I'm pissed off.
The logo showed up. The logo showed up, and I'm like, okay, something's gonna happen, and the logo's gonna go away because that's what happened when CM Punk came back.
Yeah.
And then the stream on Netflix just stopped. That's it.
Imagine you'd have paid $15,000 for that.
Yeah.
Unless Stone Cold's driving into you, you're not going to get a refund.
Yeah, it's true.
Your thoughts? Sorry, I just vexed. I'm very.
This will be great for you to get clips out. I don't know. I am very sour with this match. I think it's a disservice to both what Cena and Cody have been doing on the road to WrestleMania ever since the Elimination Chamber. Because every week on Raw, those segments, they get the eyes, they get the noise, they get the crowd reacting. This was celebrities do not belong on the main event spot. I know WrestleMania is this beautiful, amazing thing every year where it's the coming together of wrestling with celebrities and mainstream media, and WWE is doing amazing. WWE has never been so mainstream. Celebrities do not belong in the main event. You have moments for celebrities. You have Logan Paul there, and you have a Bad Bunny having one of the mid-card matches every other year or whatever. This is as bad as Jon Stewart when he stopped Jon Stewart from winning the 17th world title against Seth Rollins in 2015. It's the exact same bullshit. And it didn't work then. It didn't work now. But the biggest difference here is Travis Scott coming out was avoidable.
Yeah.
Because The Rock, how are you at the Royal Rumble? How are you at the Elimination Chamber and you're not at WrestleMania? Come on. You live in California. You have a house in California. You can fly to Vegas in like an hour. It's fine. When you're shooting a Martin Scorsese movie, guess what? You're probably shooting in California. So take an hour. You have a private jet. You're the owner of this shit. If you're going to commit to it, stand by it. So I think it hurts both of these guys. I don't think it does any favors for Cena to become champion this way. I don't think it does any favors to Cody to lose the championships this way. Like you brought up, the fact that it was just a title to the head and Cody has to go down and Cena has to throw it away and then put himself down. And now he's got to wait for the referee to like fully come up and count and Cody loses it. I think last night's main event was a botch. Last night's main event was not WrestleMania 27 bad, because at least The Rock showed up on one. But this was a disservice, and it's perhaps more dangerous to have one of these fumbles right now, because WWE right now is at an all-time high. Now you have more eyes on you than ever. Now you have a baby face that everyone was rooting for yesterday. Even in moments where they were like booing him, you could tell it's like they're booing him because they want Cena to win because Cena should win. Because even when Cena won, everyone went back to boos, and everyone, you could feel the energy going, "Oh, really? It's like this? Is it this way?" Not a good way to end Mania. Like for all the people who are complaining about the Jey Uso and Gunther match, you very much wish WrestleMania was the complete reverse order at this point. I can guarantee you that.
And I do echo all of that. And it's one of my friends turned to me and said, "There's more reason to have Punk, Seth and Roman main event Sunday." The choice of the ending actually, because if you didn't want the Cena confetti moment, which they didn't do, because I understood why, you could have done that on the Saturday night, fine. But if you had that mental Sunday cliffhanger with Paul Heyman, everyone's watching Raw tonight for that. And everyone's watching Raw being like, the fuck's going to be happening? Because what the fuck happened? Like, that's the issue. And as you said, it's a disservice. It taints Cody's entire... I mean, I'm not going to compare it to Kofi Mania, but when Brock Lesnar did the 3-second pin on him when he'd had the belt that long...
I don't think it's that bad.
It's not that bad, but they now only remember the ending of that title reign.
Yeah, I feel like because of how that ended, Cody Rhodes' first championship, because he's going to get back, that has to be the story, is very much like this WrestleMania, where, we're doing great here. We're doing great. And then it finishes on a whimper. instead of finishing with a "Oh my God, we're going to be talking about this," is "Oh, we have to talk about this now," because that's how it ended. And it was as soon as Travis Scott came out, that crowd, the atmosphere, the hype, the legitimateness, however, it died right there. Because why is he coming out right now? What is he gonna do either way? Like, I am baffled that this was what was decided. Because you and I saw the whole thing with this is all happening just because The Rock won't show up. Put Drew McIntyre on there, man. He's literally working with The Rock on his fitness brand. Like, synergy and all that. That's what you like, isn't it? I don't understand what in their heads. Was it Travis Scott just because you wanted to see Cody Rhodes give him a crossroads? Because the crowd
That's
wasn't.
my worry.
Yeah.
That's my worry that Travis Scott was only there because of that.
But that's not the thing we wanted to see it. We wanted to see it happen at some point, but we're not in a rush, man.
Yeah, it's nasty. And the thing is, I mean, because of The Last of Us, I was avoiding being online because, it aired in the UK at 2 till 3. But I did go on Twitter and I covered everything but the search button, put WrestleMania and every single person kicking off. All friends kicking off. No one liked the ending. I'm yet to come across the finals and says, and I don't need it to be satisfying. I need it to make sense from a story and character perspective.
Regardless of how it happened, Cena should have won last night. It shouldn't have ended with Cody retaining.
As you said, it disservices the build-up from what Cena's done, and from what Cody's done. It discredits both of them. And again, whether they have the best Monday Night Raw after, or we get the most insane 6-7 months later, time will tell. But I think personally, even if the next 7 months is great, there is no excuse under the sun to me in which The Rock didn't attend last night. He's on the board of directors. I'm sure all the other directors from TKO were there last night. There's a reason that PPV was in Vegas, because that's where TKO is. Like, there is something not right. If he's legit shooting us... Also, and I don't like bringing up dirt sheets, Meltzer came out like 6 months ago and was like, Rock ain't doing anything at Mania, and The Rock called it all bullshit. And I'm sat there like, he was probably technically correct, The Rock 6 months ago. But what it's gone to show is The Rock hasn't picked WWE over anything else that's coming over. He has had a film role come up. And even if he can't, I don't need him to be able to perform in the ring. If you are an actor, if he's on a Scorsese film, I don't even know if it's shooting yet. He could not be on set for one day on a Sunday evening. Do you know what I mean? Like, it's nonsense. Doing Instagram posts in fucking New Japan tops as well. Playing with your Rubik's Cube. You're like an idiot now. So, I'm just a bit, God knows what happens next.
Game that I saw today, it was The Rock didn't show up because he's still trying to figure this out, and it's him with a Rubik's Cube.
It's like he's gone into business for himself, right? That's what everyone will talk about. Like, it's again, and I'm not accepting. Oh, this is our plan by ruining wrestling. That is a storyline plan, and I'm fine with that. And you could have done that ending and done that, but there is no follow up to Elimination Chamber, and it's WrestleMania. If this was at Backlash, I wouldn't care if Travis Scott come out. If this was at Money in the Bank, I wouldn't care. But it's WrestleMania. There's no excuse under the sun. Give it the director role. Like that's how blunt I am with stuff like that. Like, if you were running a company to an extent, imagine if Triple H just didn't show up this weekend. That's his job. Like, it's that level of comparison for me personally. But yeah, sorry to moan, but it's just It was a damp squib ending. It was just not a good. As you said, I'm not comparing it to 27, but you said it right. I was thinking of what are the worst WrestleMania endings? What are the worst WrestleManias? And it's been a good WrestleMania, but it's such
the last Mania that happened in Vegas also had a fucking terrible ending.
It's just bad. It's just bad, and it's bad for business. If I'm honest. As I said, we're all invested in this Cena. We're all invested in Cody. Like, are we going to get a Cena Cody rematch in 3 weeks at Backlash? Who fucking knows? Orton's on the poster. I don't want it to be, but then I want Cena to be I don't just need him to be a champion that turns up and cuts a 2-minute promo each week. It's his farewell tour. So I'm expecting, if I'm being totally transparent, I'm expecting him to defend the belt or him appear and wrestle every PPV between now and the end of the year, which seems like the case. I don't need him to wrestle on the weekly shows. That's fine. But yeah, it's a real tough pill to swallow how it ended because it had been a good event.
Yeah, and tonight is going to be the night that really tests, because I think tonight you need a new
direction
side, but layer to Cena's new persona. Because since between Elimination Chamber and Mania, it was all the, hey, I'm different now. I don't like you. I'm just going for the. Now we need to. Now that he's gotten it, we need to see how that changes it.
Yeah,
it's
absolutely.
Storytelling 101.
Exactly, and it's a weird way to end this, but it is how we're gonna end this stream. And we've gone through all the matches.
It was WrestleMania too, man, and they still did it.
Yeah, and this is it's just there were so many of great ones. I mean, could you imagine if this was the worst Mania ever and this was the end? You'd get it. We'd be done at this point. But there were so many great moments, so many wonderful moments. But yeah, it is that. So that is gonna wrap up today's stream. Brent, it's been amazing having you on talking wrestling once more. To everyone who's been commenting, thank you so much. If you're not watching it live, you're watching it later. You mentioned maybe there'll be some clips. God knows how I'm going to clip up how we talked about the main event. Let us know your thoughts on WrestleMania. If you're watching this tomorrow, we're off to Mania. Maybe all of this has been invalidated by something that happens. Probably unlikely. But we are curious. We'll be following it. Backlash, as we said, is out on the 10th of May. So we'll be looked to do a video potentially on that. As we said, we do the PLEs. There'll be more stuff happening on the channel. There's a lot of new releases. There's TV shows. Andor's coming back. As Tony Gilroy said, it's very hard to organize videos for Andor. Certainly when you're in the UK and you're getting 3 episodes a week. So you basically have to find 2 hours of a day. So
I forgot it's coming out tomorrow. I still need to finish my my screeners. I'm only halfway through the season.
This is my honest behind the scenes. I have no idea who's coming on stream on Thursday because I can't find anyone, because it's not only are you free to a video, it's, hey, have you watched the 2.5 hour episodes that came out the day before?
Yeah.
Because normally we do it same night. And it's like easy because it's an hour and you can find someone that's going to watch it. But Pfizer will do 3 episodes and come on a day after. It's a lot harder than I thought it would be. But yeah, I'm excited for Andor. There'll be Andor. We'll be live in an hour and a half. The Last of Us, Christ Almighty, got an hour and a half. I was going to plan a nap, but that's failed. But yeah, there's a lot more happening. Ren, what are you up to on your channel? You did a video on Star Wars Celebration. Did you not?
I did an episode of my podcast talking about Star Wars Celebration, the news that came out during this past weekend. Unfortunately, not a lot of news came out this weekend, apart from that one big one. But that's a conversation for another day. I have Andor. I'll also be talking about Star Wars, The Last of Us next weekend on my pod, This Week in Geek. So come check that out.
Everyone, please subscribe to Ren on there. It's always great to see his videos, and I'm still very jealous of Andor, whilst also being not. I think the review embargo lifts today, which is my message to. I don't meet words Instagram. I just sort of disappear from people. So that is going to do it for this year's WrestleMania. I hope you've all enjoyed it, and we'll see you on the next one. Take care.
Bye-bye.